everyone. Welcome back to the Mindful Living podcast with your host, Sana. Today's episode is a deeply inspiring story of transformation, resilience, and empowerment. Our guest is Kaylea Van Arsdale, a business and life coach with a master's in psychology and over 14 years of experience helping women entrepreneurs scale their businesses and also create their dream lives. But listeners, Kaylee's journey is to success wasn't an easy one. Once trapped in an abusive relationship, she took bold steps to reclaim her life, set boundaries, and build a future which is rooted in abundance and empowerment. So, listeners, join us as Kaylea shares her remarkable story of escaping a cycle of abuse, redefining her self worth, and also using her experiences to empower others. You'll hear actionable strategies for building resilience, setting boundaries, and turning dreams into reality. So, everyone, get ready for a conversation that's as practical as it is empowering. Kaylea, welcome to the show, and it's an absolute honor having you with us today.
Thank you for having me today. I'm very happy to be here with you.
Kaylea, before we dive deep into the topic, can you take us back to the moment, if it's all okay for you, when you decided to leave your abusive relationship? What inspired you to take that first step?
And I'll say it was not an easy decision. It wasn't something that I felt I had the strength to do by myself. But I had a 2-year-old at the time who walked into the room and saw my abuser holding me down and yelling at me. And it brought me to this memory that my mother had shared when she left my father of a sibling coming in and seeing the exact same thing. And I was like, I'm repeating this. And I can't let my child think that this is okay and then repeat it again. So while I didn't have the strength at that time to save myself, having my child and knowing that I needed to provide a better future for my child gave me that strength to get us both there.
Yeah. Well, life is definitely, it gives toughest moments to deal with, but then there are some things, some emotions that we hold on to that gives us that strength to regain ourselves back from that pit or rabbit hole. So thank you for sharing this, Kaylea. And, now moving on, boundaries. We often talk about people pleasers or, people who can't say no to anything. So boundaries are really an important part of your story. How did you learn to set and stick to boundaries, and what role did they play in your transformation?
So boundaries are what really saved me going forward. Once I got out, I thought, okay, I'm now out. I now have the freedom to go any way I choose. What do I want? What do I want out of love, out of friendship, out of a career? And then how do I create that life? What do I need in order to have my dream life? And I started off with love. I'm like, let's start there. I had never seen healthy, positive love in real life. I'd seen it in the movies, but I figured it must exist. And if it exists, I'm worthy of it. I deserve to have that. And I believe everybody does. So if you're in an unhappy, unhealthy relationship, just know that you are worthy of better. And setting those boundaries and going, okay, if I'm worthy of better, why do I allow myself to be treated less than? And those boundaries came in by going, you know what? If I want better, I have to only accept better treatment. I need to set boundaries around the kind of treatment I do and don't want in my life. I need to communicate those boundaries with other people. And then I need to check in on those boundaries because, sometimes there are situations that come up that test those boundaries. And in sticking with it and how I wanted to be treated, I now have an amazing husband. We've been together for 10 years and we've never, not once, had an argument.
Mm. No, I totally agree with you because when we discuss those boundaries with our loved ones or the people who are, close to us, the kind of reaction that we get, it's kind of a litmus test. But yes, this particular person is respecting my boundaries and I can totally trust him or her. So I think it's a very, very important takeaway our listeners should take from this conversation. But there will be on a flip side, a perspective that boundaries can also isolate us or prevent vulnerability. So, how do you ensure, Kaylee, setting boundaries doesn't result in building walls that block genuine connections?
Yeah, I mean, it's all about balance. You can have boundaries and have beautiful, positive, healthy relationships and friendships, so long as your boundaries are communicated, your boundaries are healthy boundaries, as in with me, I have a very firm boundary. If you want to be in my life, you can't lie to me because I want to trust you. And if you lie to me, I start to question everything you say, and that's really not healthy for our relationship. Even the most difficult things that you could bring to me, I will listen to with an open heart. So long, it's the truth. I can make changes. I can become a better person. I can take criticism. What I can't take is being lied to. And when somebody lies and it breaks that trust, it's like I communicated this boundary with you. It's a healthy boundary. I don't think we need to be lying to each other. And you chose to step over that. Now I must protect my peace and protect that boundary. I said, and I'm sorry, but we're going to have to part ways.
Yeah.
Right? But in doing that and letting go of the unhealthy relationships, unhealthy friendships, the people who choose to step over that boundary, you're opening space to accept people in. Now, boundaries are not walls. They're not there to protect you 100% from every possible outcome because you're going to miss out on a lot of the beautiful aspects of life when you do that. The boundaries are just there to guide you towards your dream life path. That's it. Okay, so essentially, part of the boundaries that I set include boundaries for self-care, protecting time in the morning where I take care of myself. It includes boundaries for having fun. Every month, I like to do something new, something fun. So I set a boundary around that by making that one of the first things I add to my schedule. So you can have those beautiful friendships and activities and experiences while still having boundaries. But you just got to balance it,
I agree with you. Also, what were some of the biggest challenges, Kaylee, you faced in rebuilding your life and how did you overcome them?
It was primarily, I had to rediscover who I was when I left because I had nothing. I was a fragment of a person when I had come in. Like I left not knowing who I was or what I enjoyed. And it took a lot of time to rediscover myself.
Yes.
Just making space for that is really important. But then, what do I want from that? When I dreamt so big, and I think we all should have really big dreams. When you dream so big, there's always going to be distractions, outside noise trying to confuse you and keep you off your big path, a voice inside of you that tells you that you shouldn't be doing it. We like to call that imposter syndrome. Or, there's people who may not be supportive as well. And all of this outside noise and all this distraction is there to keep you living small. It keeps you stagnant, and you start to listen to it and go, okay, but who am I to create a business and a course? Or who am I to go and have an amazing relationship? It's who am I to want to travel the world? You are 100% worthy of all of your dreams. And while there's going to be the naysayers, and that's one of the biggest obstacles, is just to remember to take it one day at a time and to stay on your path to your dream life.
Also, many people, they feel trapped by fear when trying to make a significant life change. So, how did you confront and overcome your fears during this journey, Kaylee?
Fear is 100% normal. It's what keeps us protected, right? But real growth, real opportunity is on the other side of our comfort zone. If we stay in our comfort zone and we stay where we feel protected and safe and we don't feel any fear, then we're not becoming better. We're not growing. We're not achieving bigger things. And every bit of it is scary, but it's also that opportunity to meet those goals. I wouldn't have my master's if I listened to my fear. The fear that, oh, what is a degree going to do for you? Who will even care? Why are you going after this life that you think that you want? If I listened to all of that, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't have been able to help all the people that I've been able to help. And I feel like, that would be a huge shame to have listened to fear into tricking me into living small. So whenever fear is there, take a moment and think, okay, why am I afraid? Am I afraid because this is going to cause me bodily harm or injury or, risk of death? Or am I afraid because I don't know what's going to happen? I'm unsure of the outcome. Am I afraid because I'm terrified to get on stage? Well, if you're not going to die, then those other fears are just fears that are there to keep you living small. Because when you get out on that stage, or when you write your book, or you create your course, or you build your business, and you say no to fear, you are saying yes to your dreams.
Absolutely. That's really, really inspiring, Kim. So can you share one of the most impactful transformations that you have witnessed in your coaching work, with women entrepreneurs, and what it taught you about resilience and empowerment?
Yeah, absolutely. I have seen so many different changes from women at different points in their lives. I've seen women actually give up unhealthy relationships. And that one personally, I love that because of where it hits for me. I've seen women actually go and create their own businesses in spite of what other people say, and then turn those businesses into 6-figure businesses where they can then, retire their husbands.
Wow.
I've seen women who have been able to go and travel for 6 months out of the year because they have created passive income generating businesses that allow them to do this. But I think the biggest transformation is that it starts right at the beginning. It's that, you know what? I have a dream, and darn right, I deserve it. That right there, when they finally tell themselves yes. And so they reach out to me, and then I get to help them build that path and guide them and keep them accountable all along the way, no matter if it's something in their personal life or their professional life. But I get to share in their journey towards their dream life path. But it all began with them telling themselves, okay, I'm worthy.
Definitely. Wow. So before we wrap up, Katie, for someone listening who might feel stuck in an unhealthy situation, what's the first piece of advice you would give to them?
Remember that you are worthy of having the life, the love, the business, everything of your dreams, and you do not have to accept anything less.
Lovely, lovely. That is so inspiring, Kaylea. And thank you for sharing your story and also sharing or reminding us that no matter how dire your circumstances are, you have the strength to reclaim your life and create something extraordinary out of it. So, for listeners, they wish to connect with you, Kaylee, and also get a hold of your services, your work, how they can do that.
Yeah, come to managebymagic.com. I have a ton of free resources there. And you can also book a one-on-one free consultation call with me.
Lovely, lovely. We'll have all the details in the show notes. And listeners, if Kaylee's journey resonated with you, be sure to connect with her and explore the incredible resources she offers. You can refer the show notes along with this episode on your favorite podcast platform. And also, don't forget to subscribe, share this episode with someone who could use a dose of inspiration, and leave a review also to help us spread stories like this. Until next time, remember to live mindfully and pursue the life you truly deserve. Thank you.